Welcome to Infinity and Beyond, a podcast that takes a look back at the works of Pixar animation before moving onward to their newest films. If this one's too hot for you, then get out of the kitchen, because we're about to talk Ratatouille today.
Indeed, we are. Just in time for Thanksgiving, we're doing the food movie.
I know.
Gosh.
I know, it's some brand synergy right there.
Indeed. All right, so just who the gosh darn heck are we?
I'm Daniel Hudson.
And I'm Jarron Gravely.
And I'm Nora Jones.
And together, we're
We're the convicts who kill people with thumbs.
That was perfect. That
Perfect.
was beautiful.
Yes. Oh my goodness. This is a good movie.
This is a fantastic movie. I'm ecstatic to talk about it.
I know.
Okay. I've changed former statements. I believe Ratatouille is my favorite Pixar movie.
Oh.
It was tied with The Incredibles, and it still might be because I love them both. So it changes, but at the moment, it's my favorite.
You're a real Brad Bird fangirl, huh?
Yeah, I really love this movie.
Anyway, Stan Brad Birds.
Yep. This one might be my second favorite so far.
This is my favorite so far.
Yeah, this one is just so good.
So good.
So good.
I had not seen this one in many a year. It has been a while.
Yeah, honestly, for me too. But I used to watch it all the time.
I would watch it quite frequently a few years ago because I help take care of my grandparents, and my grandmother loves this movie, and so we would watch it on like a constant loop, and I never got tired of it.
I know. It's just it really is. So I think the best way to describe this movie, and I'm going to be cribbing from the Royal Ocean Film Society.
Mm-hmm.
It's very playful.
Mm-hmm.
It is playful, yeah.
It's true of a lot of Brad Bird's work, but I think this one maybe the most of any of his films.
So there's one thing.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah.
One recurring thought throughout my head as I watched this was, it's almost kind of like a Miyazaki movie.
Well, I mean,
in that it romanticizes the mundane and the beauty in it. Something. Okay, so a lot of people probably don't care about cuisine, food culture, but it's a love letter to cooking and to the cuisine of France at times, and it's like a beautiful dream. Did you know the main character of this movie is a rat, and I described it as a beautiful dream?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if it's totally comparable to a Miyazaki film.
Which is why I said almost
like even when Miyazaki did his big movie set in a European country about something maybe mundane, it was still very, very much fantasy based.
Well, okay, more Miyazaki in that it's romanticization of a thing, how it makes something mundane beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Brad Bird, along with every animator ever, is heavily influenced by Miyazaki. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, Totoro shows up in Toy Story 3, so...
I want to know whose idea it was, and they were like, you know what? Let's make a movie about a rat. Better yet, a rat that can cook.
But isn't that just the essence of Pixar, though?
Yeah.
Kinda. I mean, this movie was not an original Brad Bird thought, I guess is the best way to put it.
No.
Nora,
it had like a fairly troubled production.
Oh, yeah. Nora, I don't know how much you know about the behind the scenes for Ratatouille.
Nothing, actually. Even
So-
despite it being one of my favorites.
So this one, they'd already hit the ground running. like a year or so before Brad even came onto the project. Like he joined immediately after Incredibles was done,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically had 2 years to finish this movie. Like the script was not finished. A lot of like the animation, the sets, and the props not even started. Like they had a massive deadline that they were constantly running up against.
Well, they did good.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Wow. I don't know what to say about that, but
Wow.
that's impressive. Wow.
Yeah, it was a big undertaking.
There was
Go for it, Jan.
a considerable amount of research done. Brad Bird and the crew visited Paris. They interned at a French restaurant where the Ratatouille in the film is a special variation of Ratatouille called Confit Bialdi. Sorry, I'm very excited about this. So one thing about me is that I am a huge fan of food. I'm a huge cooking fan. I love to cook. I basically grew up watching the Food Network. I consider that to be like primetime entertainment. So I'm a huge food geek. I'd be a foodie if I lived in like a trendier town with a more active food scene. But I know all the little hidden places here in town that I like to go to.
They're hidden places here.
Places you may not have heard of, yes.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I think the reason that this movie, like really has narration for one is probably that was the most efficient way to write the script with the time they had. Because I
That's a
think
good, yeah.
this is probably, I think it's the first Pixar movie to really have narration.
I love
Yeah, you're right.
It's not the only one, but
yeah, probably first.
I mean, they had to condense like a lot of like complicated and big ideas. Like just the whole like origin, like setting up Remy, his brother, his family, his dad, and his dad's disapproval of Remy's cooking. Like that happens in under 5 minutes. That is light.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they cover most of it in the first minute, like after the TV segment is done.
Yeah. You're right. I don't know. I guess because it spans out the whole movie. I never really thought of it like that, but that's true.
I mean, and it really is the narration that just allows that to even happen.
Good job, Brad.
Good job to Remy's voice actor for making it work.
Oh my gosh,
Patton.
I was gonna wait to that later, but I love him so much. Anyway, I can save that when we get to the voice acting later, but so talented.
Good on you, Patton Oswalt.
I tend to enjoy anything that Patton Oswalt is in that I watch.
Oh, so you're gonna like Secret Life of Pets too?
No, maybe not. Maybe not. I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, he replaced the original voice of the main dog.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about him because we don't.
Yeah.
I watched 2 of Patton Oswalt's things today because I'm out of school for the week and I had free time. Well, first was Ratatouille, and then like drastically different side was Producers, and yeah, that was nice. Oh wait, no. Wait, yes, that's the same person, isn't it?
Was he in I'll look this up. I'll get Randall to look it up. Randall.
Randall.
All right, so I think we should do a quick rundown of the plot.
Yeah.
Because we kind of jumped into the discussion without that.
Oh, that's not him. That's what's his face? Wait, no, I don't know. But I get them confused. Hold on.
Oh no, I think I have the hiccups.
If I mess that up, That's gonna be real embarrassing. Wait, just continue.
Jarron, you want to give us the rundown on the film?
It would be my honor. In a small place outside in the countryside of France, there lives a rat named Remy, who is the poison checker for his rat colony that makes their home inside of an old lady's house. Remy enjoys the art of cooking, despite his father's disapproval. And he and his brother Emile, one day... Hold on, I was losing you for a second. Oh, this is hiccups. Gosh.
Yeah.
Goodness. Anyway, during a shake-up one day, the old lady catches on to the rat colony, and they have to escape and evade, with Remy getting separated from them. He finds his way to Paris, France, the city of lights, city of music, culture, romance, and language. I love France, by the way. I love Paris. I love the culture, the language. Anyway, he finds himself in Paris, guided by his conscience of his famous chef idol, Auguste Gusteau, who is a figment of his imagination. And he finds himself at Gusteau's restaurant, where a young plongeur janitor named Alfredo Linguini has begun his first day on the job. Remy spots Linguini making modifications to a soup, and Remy, through a turn of events, intervenes and changes the soup.
I'm so sorry, y'all. My
Daniel,
hiccups.
I was just say, Daniel, do you have the hiccups?
Yep. Oh, no.
It's all right.
This is going to be the whole episode.
That happened to me a few weeks ago during an English test, and it was like dead silent in the room, and it was just me hiccuping like the entire period. But it's fine.
Good gracious.
That's great. Makes me feel better about ruining the podcast.
It's not ruining the podcast. It's okay.
You did not ruin the podcast. I just found out what ruined the podcast. Me confusing Patton Oswalt with Nathan Lane, which is the most embarrassing thing ever. So I want to die now that I know. You might have to.
Nora.
That was
Nora.
terrible.
We don't make mistakes to make happy little accidents.
That was a big happy accident.
But you know what we do?
I'm confused all the time, and I don't know. What do we do?
We keep moving forward. That's not a Pixar movie, but
Just keep swimming.
just keep swimming.
Okay, continue.
Anyway, a food critic just happens to be at Gusteau's that night and orders the soup and loves the soup. The rat is spotted by the rest of the kitchen, and Linguini is ordered to kill the rat. And Linguini is confused to be the one who fixed the soup, getting him a full-time job at the restaurant. And from then on, all sorts of wacky hair-pulling hijinks ensue in the world of Paris, with the motto "Anyone can cook" resonating in Remy's tiny little rat ears.
Oh.
And then the movie becomes a mecca.
A mecca?
It's an anime thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, a mecca. Duh. Yeah.
Yeah. But instead of piloting giant robots,
Sorry, I almost interrupted the fanfare. That was beautiful, Karen.
Thank you.
so
Nora. Yes.
Get in the robot.
The robot?
Remy getting the linguini.
Get in the linguini.
I realized watching it that his name is literally a pasta, linguini.
Alfredo Linguini, yes.
Yep. This has become
didn't know that.
This has become immensely funnier to me now that I've gotten through JoJo Part 5. Where everyone is named after a food in that part.
I, Alfredo Linguini, have a dream.
No, that part. Like there's a master assassin who has like the most intimidating voice. He has like pure black eyes. He kills people with metal scissors coming out of their necks. His name is Risotto.
It's almost like the Japanese makers of JoJo wanted to base their story in Italy, and all they knew was Italian food. Nora, what do you know about What do you know about JoJo, Nora?
Isn't that like JoJo Saves the World or whatever? No, or JoJo Siwa, JoJo with the Bobo.
Hey, Nora? No.
No.
Anyway, back to Ratatouille.
Back to Ratatouille. Off our little, we had a weed segment there, man.
Yeah.
Ava and JoJo.
It started with you singing your Cruel Angel's Thesis, and then I just went full JoJo.
Yeah.
So, the anime JoJo, right?
JoJo's
Yes.
Bizarre Adventure, yes.
That one. I've heard of it. Don't know anything about it, but I've heard of it.
Well, that's a step up from last week where you had no idea what Astif movie was.
Okay. Jarron made me a playlist of YouTube videos to watch, and I'm more informed now.
All right.
Nora, go on and tell us what your favorite was out of those. I know you told me the other day, but
The taxidermy guy. Well, I don't remember what the video was called,
no,
but it was hilarious.
Chesta.
Best Cry Ever was pretty good. And the duck song, Annie waddled away, waddle waddle. Annie waddled away.
As a clarification, I sent our friend Nora, our young cohort, the Teen Titan, a list of YouTube videos from like mine and Daniel's generation that she may not be aware of to get her opinion. I'm talking the Trollolol Man, Star Wars
that
kid.
was great. He was great. I love it. Oh, also, there were two that I had already very well knew on there. I can't remember the other one, but the Harry Potter Puppet Pals, I sing with my friends all the time, so I knew that.
Okay, good. Daniel, are you familiar with the cast of 4 kids singing the national anthem?
Oh, dear Lord, yes.
I included that on there. I hope you're happy.
Thank you.
Me, I'm not normally that patriotic. Also me.
All right.
Anyway, Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is a good movie that I love
Hard to
a
be
whole
patriotic about France.
lot. I'm playing a Frenchman.
Yeah, but you're not
Oh,
French.
I'm playing a French girl.
Yes, you are. Well, actually, I'm a very French ancestry, so
That's fun and
good
fresh.
for you. Maybe you're a Gusteau as well.
Oh yeah, so well, we'll discuss that later. That is a good plot twist.
Oh, the sun thing?
Yeah, should we discuss the characters? Because I remember during Cars last week, we didn't do our usual like going down the list of characters.
We talked about the only ones that mattered in Cars.
Okay, listen, there's not much you can do with Cars.
But Ratatouille has much better characters.
So we'll begin with Remy, a rat, little chef.
Awesome. He's awesome.
He's great. He is one of the best Pixar protagonists.
And he's Patton Oswalt, not Nathan Lane. Patton Oswalt, who I also love.
Nathan Lane voiced Timon in The Lion King. Just remember that.
Yeah, I love. Oh my gosh, I love Timon so much. Okay, but anyway, yes.
Yeah, Remy's such a little sweetheart.
He is.
He's not my favorite character though in this film, but I love him. I actually don't really have a favorite character, but like he's not my favorite character ever, but I love him. But that's probably just because I don't know. I don't like it when the scene where him and Linguini are talking, and Linguini gets mad at him because he's biting, and then he just lets all the rats come back into the kitchen. He just kind of throws like a little temper tantrum, and I'm like,
yeah,
you were better than this, Remy. He's prone to throw little temper tantrums.
I don't know. Everyone gets mad every now and then.
I feel like the movie built up to that one pretty well, though.
It was well earned, I think.
It was, and
I mean,
I
the whole
wasn't
movie
mad
was just
at it
about.
because it. I wasn't mad at it because it worked with the plot and everything. It's just, I don't know. He's just not my favorite, but I love him. Like, don't get me wrong, love Remy.
And it wasn't quite like a liar revealed moment.
Yeah.
It was certainly structured like one, but thankfully it wasn't actually one.
And you know how much I despise the liar revealed.
What do you mean? You don't love the best trope ever?
The liar revealed
Oh my gosh.
cliche!
Here's a scorching hot take. Liar revealed is the Cars 2 of tropes.
Okay. I don't disagree.
I barely remember Cars 2. I really think I blocked it out of my memory for a long
Kid,
time.
you are going to watch it, and you're going to review it with us.
This is your punishment.
Okay. Actually, I was talking to my boyfriend about the podcast, and he was very angry that we did not like Cars 2 because apparently Cars are his favorite movies. And
Whoa.
Yeah. And,
We need to get him on the Cars 2 episode.
He was
Yes.
very passionate about it. I was like, I'm so sorry.
It'll
my
be like
goodness.
X number of people versus one.
And like,
Oh man, this is
I was
amazing.
talking about it, and he was like, "No, your opinion is trash. Cars is amazing."
Nora, please tell me his name is Randall.
No, his name's
Ah.
Gideon.
Okay. Well,
You
back
can
to
call
Remy.
him Randall if you want.
I will. Back to Remy. There's one thing I noticed about him and kind of a lot of the rats. There was a lot of like squash and stretch going on with their face and their eyes.
There
I thought,
was. They were quite
Like-
expressive.
Like that's kind of the first time Pixar's really done that kind of stuff outside of Elastigirl, because like they're usually so on model with their characters.
Yeah, and her chewy rubber hair.
Mm.
I was re-listening to that episode, and I'm sorry for the part where I just lost it.
Nah, don't be
Laughing.
sorry.
That part was so funny.
I miss Olivia. The weekly Olivia update. Let me go back to what she said about this episode.
Oh no, we
You
just
asked.
had this conversation with her.
Yeah. She said, "Nah, I'm not going to do this one." You say, "Don't tell me Ratatouille is down there with the Cars trilogy." She says, "Yeah, pretty much. Only good thing about it is that movie is it's set in France, set in Paris."
No.
You say, Daniel, "Dang girl, why you do this to Remy?" She said, "Flushed away rats are better." That rival DreamWorks podcast.
I'm sorry. Did she just say Flushed Away is better than Ratatouille?
She did.
Flushed Away is a trash film. It should be flushed away.
I don't know
Uh,
why that
Absolute
got me.
garbage.
All I really remember about Flushed Away is there's a gag where the Hugh Jackman Ratman hugs on to a bar of chocolate, and he freaks out and then sees it's a bar of chocolate.
The only thing I remember is that I had stickers from the movie that when I was little, I put it on my chest drawers, and they remained there for years. I think somewhere in our garage, that chest is out there, and those stickers are still on there. So it never goes away because it's just terrible film. And Ratatouille is amazing.
Ratatouille is much better than Flushed Away.
Ratatouille.
I don't know
I'm
what
so
Olivia was
insulted.
thinking.
But
Olivia,
Hugh
I love
Jackman's in
you.
Flushed Away, and from now on, Hugh Jackman's vibrato is like the best.
Well, I don't
Oh,
even
thankfully.
remember that.
You know who's better than Hugh Jackman though? Ben
Who?
Bagwell.
Oh my god.
Fair enough.
We cannot talk about Ben Bagwell's voice on this. I will rave for an hour of how good it is.
Okay, well,
He sings so good.
He's the best boy.
No, you're amazing, Jarron. You're all
Okay.
amazing.
okay. So, I think we mostly covered Remy's character.
Yeah,
Even though he's great, like the moment where his dad like tries to scare him into joining the rats again by
Oh,
showing
shoot.
him all the cruel things humans do.
I was the one to accidentally turn on the camera at this episode.
It wasn't me this time.
Nice.
Granted, I was sitting in the dark, so no one could see my face. So
Okay, listen, Jarron. I'm just kidding. Continue.
Okay, I was just gonna say like the moment where he tells his dad he's just gonna follow his dream anyway, like that. That was a good Remy moment.
yeah,
Yeah. A+. Good
A+.
character development.
I think the best Remy moment though, after that they've made the Ratatouille and like explained everything to Ego, who we have to talk about Ego, but
Ego is
I
my
love
favorite
Ego.
character in this.
I love Ego.
like he's given the choice one more time to like either go with the rats or go with Linguini.
Yeah, it's literally my favorite moment as well. I was going to talk about that.
and he doesn't
so
choose
good.
either. The whole movie was building to that, and he just goes and he relaxes and he stares at that Paris skyline until morning.
Oh gosh, dang, it's so good.
My favorite moment is nowhere near as developing to the character, but I just really like it. Is when all the rats are cooking and doing the ratatouille, which is also my favorite part of the movie because I don't know, I find it satisfying, the structure and everything that's happening with all the cooking. You just don't think about it being rats touching food because that'll jack you up. But the whole
Hey, they washed themselves before.
I know, that was nice. But my favorite part is where he's yelling at everyone what to do, and like he's like, spoons, good, too much salt, good, and like that whole scene is my favorite of him because I'm like, oh, look at him being a little professional, little Ramsay Gordon chef. Oh,
I mean that's a good moment too. Like there's just so many good Remy moments.
Yeah.
I love when he does a little snap hay at the bicycle.
Yeah, he crashes.
Just like, what the hell? So yeah, Remy is great. Linguini really impressed me this watch through. His voice actor,
Yeah.
Lou Romano. So many good like noises he makes.
Yeah, what's cool about that is that they were intending to get like an actor, like a known actor to voice Linguini, but Pixar in the like early stages do reels where often crew members voice characters. And so Lou Romano worked on Ratatouille as, find the exact thing he did. I'm not quite sure. He didn't work on Ratatouille, but he also was a production designer on The Incredibles and visual development on Monsters, Inc. He did like a scratch track as Linguini, and they thought it was so good they kept him in. And I think that's really neat.
That is pretty cool. I also noticed Peter Son voices Emil, and he goes on to direct The Good Dinosaur.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, or well, he takes over directing The Good Dinosaur.
We're going to discuss that when we get to it. I still haven't seen that movie, but I'm very familiar with the troubled development process.
Yeah, I've never seen The Good Dinosaur.
It'll be interesting to see what you guys think of it when we get to that episode. But right now, it's rats.
Rats.
I love this movie so much. I think
So
Pixar
do
is
I.
good about their voice acting. I just can't. It's so good.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
This film too. And I know I say it every time, but I think this film and Incredibles has some of the best voice acting.
Oh, for sure. And so Linguini goes on from like, seems like an underdoggy type, a little underachiever. But the scene of him sitting in front of the water talking to Remy in a jar, and he's like, I need this job. I've lost so many. I'm like, dang, I feel sorry for this guy.
I specifically remember when I was a kid, watching it the first time and thinking, oh, I hope he doesn't knock him into the water. And then he knocks
He
him into
does.
the water. And like my little heart drops and I'm like, no.
And then that perfect cut to just...
Yeah.
Linguini looks so sad and pathetic when he's just covered in water right then.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
then
feel
Remy
so
just
bad
gets
for
out
him.
of the jar and runs away and laughs at him.
Remy.
See, that's my least favorite Remy moment out of the whole film is that.
Well, it
because
leads into
I've
a
seen
good
it
point.
so
Back.
much. I know, but I've seen it so much that I know how capable Remy is of being talented and good that it just disappoints my heart. There's no justice behind it. It just makes me sad.
I mean, this was the guy who was literally going to kill him a few minutes ago.
Listen, I know he was right to run away. It just makes me sad.
Oh my goodness. They are a great duo, and it's great that
Absolutely.
they can't communicate with words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just little nods and,
Remy's nods are adorable.
they are.
Like, it's so
They
cute.
put some real effort into getting that character to act with the animation. Like, I actually read Roger Ebert's review.
Ebert.
I read his review, and that was like one of the big things he mentioned was that he just loved how Remy acted all the time.
Yes.
I
Patton
love
Oswalt
Roger
did
Ebert.
so good with the voices, and then the animation. The animation and his voice together was so.
It
yummy.
fits perfectly.
Yeah.
It really is great. What about other characters?
Gusteau, I think, is
Okay.
a fascinating character because he's not even like a character.
I mean, he was originally going to be.
Yeah. Apparently, but in early development, Gusteau was still going to be alive, but just like
Oh, I don't
broken
like
and
that.
depressed.
Yeah, Brad Bird killed him off once he realized the movie was getting too hard to do with Gusteau being alive.
Yeah, I wouldn't have liked that.
Him being Remy's conscience, spirit guide type thing. It's perfect.
I mean, does that count as Gusteau the character, or is that just more Remy stuff, though?
Well, that's the thing, though. That's exactly the thing.
Yeah.
When Remy's like, you tell me things I already know, and he's making him more aware. It's like, it's how your conscience works. It tells you what you're really feeling and what you actually want.
It's his inner struggles personified.
Yeah.
I love it. I was thinking about it as I was watching it, and I was also thinking about, because I knew we had talked about our favorite characters, because I was thinking, I really don't have a favorite character in this film. But then I realized Gustav really might be my favorite character. Ego's those two are up there. But I really like his guiding spirit. Also, I love his animation, the way that they make him, like, his coloring makes him look like the wholesome, happy chef person that's going to guide him the way. I guess it's sort of angelic, but I really like his personality.
I particularly like this scene where he's on the page talking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, because...
I like the way that animation looks. I love I love 3D animation trying to look 2D. Kind of like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, if you ask me.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
I will never let it go.
Never let it go. How good it is. I know.
Let it go.
Oh, I forgot to ask you, how was Frozen 2?
Jarron. It was good, but wasn't what I wanted. I have very conflicting emotions because it's great. Some of the songs are stuck in my head. It's just it didn't surpass Frozen 1 for me, and I have to tell you about it later.
Did I tell you about my very elaborate plan of when I'm going to see it?
No.
I'm going to see it on December the 22nd.
Oh, you did tell me.
Oh, I told you this, yeah.
You did. But no, I mean, I'd go see it again. It's good. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's good. It's just there's a lot of things I didn't like about it. And also, I just don't think the story itself is as good. But
It's no
the
Ratatouille. is what you're saying.
animation is beautiful. It is so pretty to look at. Like, it's
Okay.
beautiful. Like, you will not be disappointed with the animation. Like, mwah. Also, Idina Menzel's song is stuck in my head. I kept singing it today. So
Cool.
And
That's one
Olaf
thing I'm
is
glad
the
to hear.
best character.
Because it looked like the movie was going for a color palette that was kind of like those icy blues and then also like really deep reds, and that's like my
Yeah, the
favorite color
forest.
combination.
It's gorgeous. Like, and the costuming they do for the characters is absolutely gorgeous. Like, when you go
I
watch
love
it,
costume design.
about Elsa's dress. It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, that was the best part. And it's just the character development wasn't what I wanted, except for Olaf. Olaf slayed the game in this movie. I loved it so much.
All right. Well, that was Nora's review of Frozen 2, everybody.
Yeah, I have a lot more to say on that. I could make a whole podcast about just my review on Frozen 2.
Go for it.
Okay, when I go see it, let's do that.
Okay. Anyway, Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Yeah, so-
On to the next character. We should discuss Colette.
Yes, absolutely.
Way to represent girlfriend, only female in the kitchen. That's
She
how I felt.
rules.
Yeah, she's great.
She's an icon. She's iconic.
She rides a motorcycle. Nobody rides motorcycles in Paris. I should know. I've been there once.
I thought everyone rode like little mopeds in Paris.
I
I've never
saw
been there,
None
but
of those when I was in Paris. I'll
Mm.
tell you that right now. Movies lied to you.
Did you see people stealing loaves of bread?
Okay, that's a stereotype. That's one of the stereotypes that's true. I bought this nice loaf of bread from a bakery, and then somebody just came by, ripped it out of my hands, ran away. It started this whole 3-hour
Did he go to jail
movie.
for 19 years?
5 years for what you've done.
Did he go to jail for 19 years?
Nah, he's probably still out there thieving bread.
Lord, let me find him.
Anyway,
Pardon my little moment there.
so Colette is great. She gets the second best training montage in this movie when she's showing Remy and Linguini how to do their stuff.
Yes.
She's the only one who comes back. Like, I love the moment when all the chefs... I love
They
the
all
moment when-
leave. Like, they're like, no.
Yeah, because it's insane. It is absolutely insane what Linguini is asking them to do. Of course they don't stick around. And then Colette sees the Anyone Can Cook book, and she just...
So good. So good. That's how you do a
goes
theme,
back.
baby.
She
See,
goes,
as a kid, I never understood why they left. I was like, what's the problem here? Master Chef, we're ready to go. Like, let's stay, let's cook. Like, I don't, like, why are you leaving? But I get it now.
Yeah.
That was youngling Nora's view.
yeah.
Is that a Star Wars reference?
If it was, that was not. You know
It's
what?
like-
That was totally intentional. Yes, it was.
Good, because we
Absolutely.
understood that reference.
That's good.
I understood that reference.
That's good because I didn't, but I'm glad you did.
All the chefs are pretty great.
Yeah, to be like very, very minor characters. They all have neat designs, and they all have funny little gimmicks. about
All the
them.
character designs in this movie are just great.
Oh, fantastic! Top
It's
of the
because
line.
Brad Bird knows how to design a character.
Yeah, and they're all people except for the rats, and they're all still stylized. One stereotype they do kind of do is the French nose.
I love the French nose animation. I'm sorry. I
No,
love
I'm not
it.
saying it's a bad thing.
Linguini's nose is the best.
I guess Linguini's probably Italian,
I mean, he's half French.
but his mother's
Oh,
name is
yeah.
Renata, which sounds plenty Italian.
That's what. But he has an American accent. Like, can we talk about that? Because I assumed his mom was American because he's like the only American human.
He does have a bit of like a New York accent.
Yeah. That's what I picked up while I was watching. So I was like, huh, he is the only one. So that's what I was assuming.
And he has red hair.
Yeah.
A lot of Italians have red hair. I mean, Giorno Giovanna with his pale skin, blonde hair, and green eyes.
Giorno Giovanna isn't Italian.
I guess he isn't, yeah.
So I'm
He's
gonna
half Japanese
assume
and half
he's
English.
American.
He's half Japanese, which makes it somehow.
Yes, he is.
I know, but like.
He was born with black hair. It just turned blonde later in life once his Dio genes activated. Anyway.
Giorno Giovanna, the main character of JoJo Golden Wind.
Oh, I was like, how? I was so confused.
Anyway. So, the convict, chef.
Yeah.
Cupid man.
We feast.
I defaulted to major corporation. I held at the second largest bank in the national bank.
With only a ballpoint pen.
You probably just loaf of bread.
I love the.
They bring back the thumb gag later.
Yeah. I love the instance, the little part with the one guy, and he ran gun for the resistance. Which resistance? No one knows. Apparently, they didn't win. that part, I think.
It's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never appreciated that scene until I watched this time because I don't think I ever got what they were saying, and then I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious."
Yeah, that's really funny.
I was like that. Like I never even understood the other thing. The guy, I don't remember his name, but the thumb guy. Because like I was younger when I watched this, and like the only thing I remember was the thumb line, and I was like, why wasn't I laughing at the things he said before this? This is great.
Yeah. So one more character before we get to the one I really want to talk about.
Probably the one I want to talk about as well. Yeah, he's great as well.
Oh wait, who?
Remy's dad.
Father. We should probably also discuss Skinner as well.
Yeah, Skinner.
Oh,
delightfully devilish, Seymour.
Yep. Skinner is just more proof that Brad Bird hates capitalists.
It's true. I could have a lot to say about this character because the recurring gag of the frozen food is so funny.
Burritos, millions of burritos.
I love the part. It's like they keep coming up with new ways to sell out the various versions of Gusto.
Yeah. I think since that's
perfect.
Remy's consciousness, that's probably almost Gusto falling a little bit in his eyes once he sees what the legacy is.
Well, I guess the thing is, this seemed to only have been a thing after Gusto died. That Gusto didn't license his image while he was alive. That's the thing, though. The line where he goes like, Monsieur Boyardee. Did you know Chef Boyardee was actually a real chef?
Yes, I did. That is one fact I did know.
Did you read the little backstory on the can of ravioli?
No, I did not. I just heard someone tell me this before.
Anyway, yeah, so Chef Boyardee was indeed a real person who licensed his image to be on little cans of ravioli, and most people just assume he's a fictional, like, invention to sell ravioli, but he was a real person. And so in the context of this, with Gusto, his image was sold out and to sell millions and millions of burritos.
Yeah, poor Gusto.
My favorite one of my favorite Gusto moments is when Remy's like about to find the will, he's finding it, and he has it on the table, and Gusto's in the photo frame, which is very creative, by the way.
That's clever, yeah.
Yeah, and Remy's like, what is this? Why are they doing it? And he goes, I don't know. I'm just a figment of your imagination. I know as much as you do. I think that's really funny.
Well, I like when the sign of Gusto is talking to Remy.
Oh, yeah. That's clever with the pans. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I also like when he's in the cage and gives him like an uplifting speech. That's a nice little inspiring moment.
That's just Remy.
It's Remy reaffirming himself to himself, which is perfect and beautiful and themes.
That's when I really started thinking, like, wow, this is literally him battling himself and the challenges of finding out who his inner self is and that he never knew who he was. And this is amazing. And
Yeah, and that's the thing. We have all been in that cage before. It may not be a literal cage, but we've all had to wrestle with ourselves and decide what we really want, who we really are. Maybe we do that now more than others. So it's perfect and beautiful and relatable.
It's a movie that ages like fine wine.
There's a lot of alcohol in this movie for it to be G-rated.
Yeah, and guns.
And guns, yes.
Pixar's first guns, and another swear.
Yeah, when Skinner's like, "Welcome to hell."
Oh, yes.
This is the third Pixar hell.
Brad Bird's movies feel mature, like they're made for adults. And that's one thing I noticed throughout this. It feels like, well, I think YouTuber Jello Apocalypse, I think it was him who put it, that it feels like a quirky indie movie that just happens to be animated.
You know what? I definitely can get behind that depiction of it. But like, how quirky an indie movie are we talking? Because this is no Swiss Army Man.
This is no Wes Anderson.
So many words being used right now.
Yeah, Nora, I don't think you'd like this, so don't watch Swiss Army Man on Netflix.
I've not seen it, but I know what it is.
Jarron, you should definitely watch it.
I'm gonna look up a summary now.
I'll just tell you, it's about a guy stranded on a deserted island. A corpse washes up there, and he realizes he can use the corpse to survive in many different ways. So the corpse becomes his Swiss Army Man.
No.
The corpse just keeps farting, so he uses that to make it into a jet ski to get away from the island.
Can corpses fart, though?
Yeah, the gas decompressing in them.
Oh.
Decomposing them.
Oh, no.
That's not even the grossest part of it, Nora.
Let's not.
I thought you were gonna say it was like Castaway with Tom Hanks, and I was like, wow, that sounds great. And then you're like, he uses a corpse to survive, and there's farting jets, and I was like, well, there went that.
That's why I told you not to watch it, Nora.
I thought you were gonna say like it's like a Willy moment or Wilson, whatever the
No.
volleyball's.
Oh no, Jarron, I'm not even sure you would like it.
I do have a very sensitive stomach, mind you.
Maybe you should just both stay away from that movie.
Okay.
Yeah. But
anyway,
unlike that, I think anybody can enjoy Ratatouille.
There are great themes in Ratatouille. Themes, my friend, aren't just for 8th grade book reports. I'm going to strangle the next person who...
You have to have themes in all great literature. I mean, like, that's how you make a classic.
Okay, so where that stems from, Daniel knows what I'm talking about. One of the co-creators and writers of the Game of Thrones television series was defending that there weren't themes in the recent season. And his retort was, themes are for 8th grade book reports.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That pisses me off so bad.
I mean, that's like a slap in the face to all great authors, like, ever. Like, reoccurring motifs, themes, symbols. Like, The Great Freaking Gatsby. Like, what? No.
Yeah. I'm so glad they're not doing the new Star Wars.
They're making another?
No, not the Game of Thrones guys.
They were going to, but they're not anymore.
They got fired.
Yeah, or PR speak. Creatively went different ways.
Kind of like Brad Bird and Pixar after this movie.
Wait, no, what? Why? What happened?
Nothing bad.
Brad just wanted to do live action.
Yeah, he wanted to move on and do his own thing.
But I like his Pixar movies.
He came back to do Incredibles 2.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he'll stay.
Maybe. I would love nothing more than for him to make another Pixar film.
I would love
hopefully something original.
I would love to see 1906 happen.
Oh, 1906, yes. That's his white whale. That's, you know.
Yeah, Nora, 1906 is a movie Brad has wanted to do for years. It's basically a story about the earthquake in San Francisco in 1906. That's
Okay.
half live action, half animated.
That sounds good.
I know. And he's not been allowed to do it, and it's so infuriating.
Wait,
Brad
why
Bird.
do it?
Well, for starters, Pixar didn't really want to do live action, so Brad went to do some live action films to prove that he can handle this.
Mhm.
And Ghost Protocol was successful, but then Tomorrowland bombed. So
That
he had
was-
to make Incredibles 2 to save his career. And now we don't know if he's going to get to do 1906 or not.
Mm.
That's where we're at with that one.
Yeah, Tomorrowland was really bad.
Oh yeah, you discussed the
The
PRE,
robot thing?
pervert robot experience.
Yeah, no. Bratty boy, you done me dirty. That was not good.
He wasn't the only writer on that film. Don't give him all the blame.
Yeah, he co-wrote with Damon Lindelof.
David Hasselhoff.
When I went to Shell City, I wrote the Hasselhoff.
You done good, Hasselhoff. You done good. Well, not on Tomorrowland.
We're talking about every movie but Ratatouille now.
No, I just gushingly and passionately defended the themes of this film. Although we can't fully discuss the themes without discussing one of the major characters who reinforces all these themes, the one and only Anton Ego.
Yes.
Dare I say, the best critic in any movie ever.
But what about a nostalgia critic and To Boldly Flee?
Second best critic.
Nora, are you familiar with the nostalgia critic?
Jarron, don't bring him up.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve to be.
Of
He's not.
course I'm familiar. Why wouldn't I be?
I'm happy for you that you don't know who that is.
Well, I feel like if I don't know who they obviously aren't better than Ego. Like, I'm sorry. If I don't know you, you haven't surpassed, because I should know you if you're better. But, no.
Damn.
Stone cold.
Deal with it.
Oh,
That's all he deserves. That's literally all that man ever deserves.
I don't know what he is, but suck a Ratatouille.
Sucker rat patootie.
Yes, that.
And this is the Doug Walker Hate Hour. We will move on to.
So Anton Ego is such a fun character.
He is voiced by the late, great Peter O'Toole, one of the greatest actors of all time, dare I say. He was given the script, and he initially laughed it off. He was like, Ratatouille, that's a children's movie, that's a cartoon. Why would I want to do that? But then he read the script.
Amazing.
And I think that ties in perfectly to what happens in the movie, to his character. He read the script,
Peter
he loved
O'Toole
it.
just has a flashback to when his mom wrote him a script for dinner and is like, I love Ratatouille.
Yeah, that scene is iconic. That flashback
It's beautiful.
Just the camera trick. It's like this dolly zoom out that then transitions through fade to black to the pullback from the iris.
Shout out to the coloring. If you notice, that same fanciful beauty fantasy used in Ego's flashback is the same design used for Gusteau. Just throwing that out there. And
Color theory.
I like it.
I like it a lot as well. My goodness.
I just love how Ego is like, he's so restrained and calm, but he can get angry.
Mhm.
Yes. And your
His perspective rant at the waiter.
Because nobody in this town knows what perspective is.
The best character in the film.
Oh, by a mile.
Lovely little details are that his typewriter is based off his face.
That's
His
lit.
office is shaped like a coffin. His name is Anton Ego.
Words.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Which contrasts nicely against Alfredo Linguini.
Anton ego. Like a big ego?
Yeah. Ego is coming. Appetite's
Uh.
coming. He's gonna have a big ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. But his review at the end, I mean, that is...
Okay, so I'm gonna say something. I've seen this movie so many times, but watching it again this past week was so beautiful and borderline cathartic almost during that scene. So something I do is I frequently deal with imposter syndrome. I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm a fraud. I'm a fake who just got lucky. I get so anxious about putting things into the world, whether it's writing or acting or singing, but I keep doing them anyway because there's something special about it. And it's my passion. It's what I love. That monologue, my goodness, just summarizes the beauty of creation, creating things, the beauty of ideas, new things, celebrating the new, putting aside your preconceived notions, the idea that negative criticism, which there's so much of it on these days and times, we base everything about a film on a Rotten Tomatoes score, for goodness sakes. That
True.
honestly, if one person enjoys something, then maybe that's worth more than any negative criticism could ever be leveled at it. That's why I love this movie.
May I
Nail on the head.
that was beautiful, first of all. And ego, I best character arch, I think so. I know he's doesn't spend as much time on the screen, and I know that Remy's, of course, is obviously the main one, but I love his character arch. I know it's drastic, but I love it so much. It makes my soul happy.
Like, a good meal changes his entire perspective.
But it takes him back to it. But I can tell something
Hang on,
about.
guys.
Huh?
Sorry, it cut out on me and it stopped recording.
No! It's
Yeah.
just it's recording on mine.
Yeah, it says recording here.
Yeah, what time does it say? Like, I started recording again, and it's only at like 20 seconds now.
It still says an hour and 23.
24.
Okay, if you guys get a copy of the full recording, please send it to me.
Yeah.
I'll let Jarron do that because I'm unknowledged in the Skype.
Okay.
The only computer I have is a Chromebook.
Just upload it to Google Drive and share it to me.
Okay, yeah.
Like, that'll be all you have to do.
Anyway, I don't need the Anton Ego backstory to know that something in his life changed. Something about that meal, the taste of the past, took him back to a happy memory. That's beautiful. That is the essence of every good story, every good creation.
Okay, I take it back. He probably doesn't have the best character arc now I'm thinking about it, but it's, to me, the most fascinating one is the better way to say it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And there's something else I was going to say. I hadn't thought about it till this time. Actually, while I was watching it, I actually thought the same thing. I was like, oh, I wonder what made him like that. Because as a kid, he seemed so happy. And I actually would be very curious to know his backstory. Just because he's such a thoughtful, like, major component of the story that doesn't really come
a backstory wouldn't help, though. Like,
no, I don't want it in the film. I just want someone to tell me.
Because, like, we talked last week about how the highway montage in Cars just fell so flat because you're just explaining how things got to the way they are. I think,
and they're trying to imitate a better scene that's
something similar
driven.
would happen to Ego, and it's just...
No, this film's perfect. You don't need to add anything. I just want, like, Brad to come have a talk with me and tell me what's up with that guy. That's all I want. No biggie.
I still feel like any backstory would just be not satisfying, because what you come up with in your head is going to be like your ideal thing.
So I'm a big fan of Tetsuya Nomura's idea, Tetsuya Nomura being the creator of the Kingdom Hearts series. His idea of allowing the audience to come to their own conclusions on things that aren't concretely stated within the story. It's almost the opposite of what J.K. Rowling does, where she keeps feeling like she has to...
I hate that she's doing that.
Thank you.
She's mostly stopped.
Really?
She's been off Twitter for a while.
Well, because it's become such a huge meme at this point. The wizards pooping in the floor tweet was really, really what crossed the line with some people.
I just, like I love her and I love the series, but stop.
Yeah.
I always thought Dumbledore was asexual, to be honest. I never saw the relationship she was saying afterwards, but that was just me.
Which is weird because
even
she
the
went back
Fantastic-
on it saying that it used to be that Dumbledore and Grindelwald's relationship was always one-sided, that Dumbledore had feelings and Grindelwald didn't.
And now
So
they
she's
have
almost retconning
tense
her own...
relationship
Yeah.
that the movies refuse to show.
Mm.
Speaking of relationships, Linguini and Colette, thoughts?
It's cute.
My favorite part is where it's like for a split second, but you see them roller skating together and like they're out of the chef's uniforms, and I think it's so cute.
Yeah.
That is
Bon Voyage from The Incredibles is in that scene. As a mime on the streets.
It hasn't quite turned down the path of evil.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go to that scene to see that, but
Yeah, he's there
But-
like miming.
Yeah, for me, like, I generally don't like romance in films.
Neither do I.
I very rarely connect with it.
Yeah, same here. I'm not a very romantic person.
Ugh.
The moment where Colette just almost maces Linguini
Yeah.
was so amazing. I think I can forgive any romance stuff that falls flat for me. Because you see the fear in his eyes as she's slowly bringing the can up, and she's like deciding, like, do I want to do this? Thinking about doing this. Yeah, fuck it.
I love them together.
Yeah.
They're like the yin yang kind of relationship, opposites attract sort of thing.
Yeah. Because she's
It
very strong and independent. He's kind of a screw up at times.
But he's so sweet.
He's very sincere
Also,
and not afraid to show his emotions.
But he is afraid to show what's under his hat.
That was good. Not
Yeah,
trying
that's
to be weird, but they would have adorable children. Just throwing that out there, they would.
Oh, yeah.
Their kids would be cute and talented.
Well, one of them would be talented, and the other would need rat help.
Okay, but
I feel like if they had kids, and like as the kids are growing, we're like, Remy try to see like, oh, can I control their kids too? Just hop in their hair and start pulling. It's like, hey.
that's
Maybe
my
one's
one.
just naturally a chef.
If I had two issues with this film, well, they're not really issues. It's just more questions that because I'm not bothered by them in the film because I like it. But how does pulling one's hair control your entire body?
It's because it's a mecha.
Yeah, it's a mecha.
A what?
A mecha.
Is this the anime thing again?
It's an anime. Yes, mechas are giant robots that people get inside and control.
But what does hair have to do with that?
Those are the controls.
Yeah.
Well, I still support it because I like hair animation and I like seeing the close-up pullings of the hair. Anyway, and my second issue is a very specific little nitpicky detail. When Linguini brings Remy back to his apartment to sleep, how is there already, like, I mean, not already, but he sets up a perfectly sized rat bed with a perfectly sized quilt and a miniature rat pillow. Why do you just have that lying around.
Hey.
What?
Maybe he had a pet rat at one point. I had pet guinea pigs.
My reaction of because he yelled at him and almost killed him is going to make me say no.
Well,
So
maybe these were just like doll toys or whatever.
And then they moved into the big house, and there was yet another perfectly sized bed, and I'm like,
Okay, well, at that point, time has passed, and like, why wouldn't Linguini go out of his way to make Remy comfortable in the new house?
Yeah, we don't really know how much time. Could be months at this rate.
You're right, but it just made me think of the first inconsistency, and I was like, where are these magical
This movie takes place over about a month, because that's how long it takes the will to expire and stuff.
And the health inspector is like, I can come in 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I think the hair stuff is just like the perfect amount of cartoony goodness for this movie.
There's a theory that the reason why, here we go in Kingdom Hearts land. Remy is in Kingdom Hearts 3.
He is?
Yeah. So Sora, Donald, and Goofy find Remy being surrounded by the Heartless. They fight the Heartless off. And later on, they encounter Remy as the chef of the hot new restaurant in Twilight Town that Scrooge McDuck owns. Never thought I'd see Scrooge McDuck and Remy on the same screen, but here we are. Remy's the chef there, and they employ Sora to help with the cooking. And you gather ingredients throughout the game to take the restaurant. You make food, and that gives you status buffs. And there's fun little cooking mini games where Remy's on Sora's spiky head and pulling his hair to do the cooking. It's really cute, and I love it.
That's so cute. Yeah.
But it's not a full-on world. It's just Remy showing up in the original.
I was about to ask if it was the full Paris world, because that would be cool.
That would be neat. But there's a theory that Master Xehanort, the main villain of the Kingdom Hearts series, is bald, is because Remy can't take control of him.
Oh,
that's great, actually.
If you let hair, Remy can control you.
That's kind of sad.
That's the theory, and I love it.
But I really like the hair pulling, because this time through, I may have a new favorite scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk about my old favorite scene in a bit, but the training montage where he's learning how to control Linguini. Everything is just so perfectly timed. The music is probably like at its best outside of that main theme.
Oh, we need to talk about the music in the second.
Yeah, but like the moment where like after so many failures and things going wrong, and then Linguini just picks up that knife and everything stops, and he just starts chopping things perfectly.
There's a lot of so you know the whole like satisfying thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in this movie.
Yes. The whole like pouring of the sauce to make the ratatouille is a very satisfying moment.
Yeah.
Like where they spread it out in the pan. That's nice.
Cooking is so satisfying in general.
It is. Okay, so cooking is very cathartic for me. Like, especially when I'm having like anxiety or something, because it's literally like putting something there. So it helps me a lot. So I kind of connect to a lot of that.
I love baking. Baking's my favorite.
I'm going to make apple pie for Thanksgiving this week.
Really?
Yeah.
I love baking. And I'll bake y'all something. Bake a pie.
Yay.
Send it via podcast.
Nice.
What were we talking about? I started thinking about baking.
Yeah.
I was just talking about the montage. My other favorite scene is, it's not the review. The review is stellar. It might be in a league of its own, but Remy teaching Emile how to taste.
That's great as well.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I've tried to like drag friends into my passions, and it goes a little something like that.
Yeah.
And just the way they use the colors and the music combining to
show the soundtrack of this movie.
Michael Giacchino knocked it out of the park.
Are we getting to the soundtrack because I've been waiting. There are two things I've been waiting for, and that is soundtrack and animation. And the soundtrack is beautiful. I love this soundtrack so much.
It is amazing. It's beautiful, and I gotta say, the last song on the soundtrack for the credits is called "End Credituies," and that's beautiful.
Michael Giacchino
also
loves to include little
Credits are so good.
Yeah, more 2D animation really from Pixar.
This soundtrack has been stuck in my head for years. Like, if I just think French, like, I think of these specific songs, especially like the
I love that song.
Yeah, that one, and then the end credit scene song. Those are my two big ones. And also, I love the end credit scene. It's so good. It's fun to watch. I specifically make sure like I watch to the very, very end because I love that end credit scene. It's so creative. And if you watch what they're giving credit to is also in the animation, like they said, lighting director and assistant light director, and then they do the cameras and like the flashing of the rat and like character development. They do something very it's for like it's the grapes going into the rat's mouth and like each rat does something like different. I love that end credit scene.
Very delightful stuff. Yeah, I think this is one of Pixar's funnier movies too.
Yes.
Yes.
The drunk scene.
Oh, so good.
I forgot about that scene.
You ever have a pet rat? No. You ever work in a lab with rats? No.
Nopedy, nope.
You ever lived in a squalor?
We are all out of wine.
Regrettably, we are all out of wine.
He looks so sad when he finds out that there's no more wine.
I don't really drink.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Skinner just gets so desperate.
Yeah. The DNA test.
That was great. The
They
first
call back from the lab. It came up as rodent hair.
I had never caught that line until this time, and I had to like think. Like I was like, "Whoa!" and I got it. I was really slow on that one.
Yeah, Skinner he's a real dissent.
He's a great antagonist. He's not really a villain because he's not like evil or anything.
He's probably the villain character type of this movie, though. I mean, like if you're gonna say anyone's a villain, it's him.
I mean,
Yeah.
capitalist. So in a Brad Bird movie, he is the bad guy.
We forgot our John Ratzenberger corner.
Oh yeah.
He voices the waiter, the one who.
I feel so bad for that waiter.
Yeah.
He goes through a lot in this movie.
And John Ratzenberger does a very good French accent.
And then Linguini just shows him up with his rollerblades.
Yeah.
I love watching that. That's also another very satisfying moment when he like replaces the wine glasses in their hands. So good.
And he only can do that because he was rollerblading with Colette. You know?
Oh my god.
You right.
Wait, so did he teach Colette to roller skate? I think he did. I remember seeing Colette kind of stumble.
Yeah.
I also like how the clumsy character actually becomes really coordinated when he's on like something that you actually need training to actually be good at.
As someone who is particularly uncoordinated myself, I'm glad of that. I trip a whole lot. Sometimes on air.
I'm sorry.
Well, don't trip when you're doing Les Mis.
Please don't.
I mean, I am going to have to fall off the bridge.
Yeah, I'm curious about how y'all are gonna do that.
We've worked it.
Okay.
Okay.
Fabric.
It's so funny.
Don't fall
watching
off
it
a
from
bridge like
backstage.
Linguini did.
Yeah.
It's so funny watching not Jarron like okay. They from what I had seen, they hadn't staged Javert's death yet, and Jarron's like up there acting, singing like the best ever, and I'm like, yes. But then like from backstage you look and Campbell, who's like this really strong guy that does a lot of our lifts, is just like sitting behind the little bridge, curled up in a ball with this like plain emotionless face, ready to catch Jarron or whatever. And it's hard to explain, but it's really funny because Jarron's like up there acting his heart out, and Campbell's like hidden back there looking like, it's really funny. But anyway.
Come see Les Mis at location redacted.
Yep. Dude, I'm gonna have to take a video of that and just send it to you and be like, this is what's happening behind you, by the way. Like,
Please. Please do.
All right, so I'm just trying to think of more things. Like, there's so much in this movie.
It's very
Can we talk
detailed.
about the animation? I've been waiting.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Yes. Okay. First of all, tiny little detail. Did anybody realize that Linguini has scruff? You only notice it when you
Yeah, he
zoom
does
up
have a
on
little
Little
goatee,
bit of-
yeah.
A little bit of
I
fuzz.
had never noticed that until this time around. The animation is so good. It's so flip-flopping good.
Yep. At this point, like ever since Cars on forward, like Pixar's films just really don't have any bad looking moments. And this is, definitely a good showcase of that, because there are scenes where there are so many humans on doing so many different things, like cooking, and then the rats all working together. Like, it's a lot.
There's a lot of detail everywhere.
And for a movie that was so rushed too.
It's so good. And the coloring, I always notice the coloring because, like, Ego, if you notice in the restaurant, it's all very dark and kind of consumed by his presence when he comes to critique. But after he enjoys the ratatouille and, like, I just said like a basic white girl. Anyway, after they come out to tell him about Remy, the restaurant is more colorful. There's more of a light to it. There's a contrast, and I like that. That's a nice touch, and that happens quite frequently. If even like when there's you can tell the differences between even outside the kitchen. It'll tend to be nighttime when they argue, but then if there's a lighthearted moment or something of redemption, it's usually daytime or there's some kind of glow, and it's nice. And the soundtrack fits very well in with the animation, like the glowing of the cheese and the berries. And I noticed, I'm like really talking about this, I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
Brad, what's his last name? Because sometimes I say Bird and sometimes I say Bird.
Bird.
Bird? Okay.
Bird.
Good. Bird, like a flying bird?
Yes.
You can call him Brad Boyer if you want.
Brad Boyd. From what you had said in Incredibles about the long continuous shots, I was ready and prepared to look
for same here.
Similar directing styles, and I was content. There was constant movement of the camera from one person to another that flowed quite beautifully, with continuous and detailed animation in the background, including each of the characters' detailed facial expressions and facial marks like detailed freckles, eyelashes, everything. The details of hair before hair design was fully advanced, but I really liked Linguini's hair under the hat. Yes. Also, I think it was a good idea to give Linguini super curly, puffy hair because his hair is so important, and it's beautiful. Okay.
Nora, you know what?
Yes.
I'm very glad you asked to be on the podcast.
You're doing our work for us, kid.
the exchange the first that night was you the others. They asked if I wanted to go to the movies with them, and I was like, no, I gotta go home. I gotta record a podcast. And then you were like, you have a podcast? Have you on it?
Yeah. Sorry, I just did a lot of talking. I'm gonna be quiet. For a
No.
minute.
All right, it was all good talking. Trust me.
It
Yeah.
wasn't just her, their shark tail.
I love animation so much.
So do I.
Oh yes. That's why we're doing a podcast about Pixar.
Yeah.
Well,
The number one fan has spoken.
thank you, number one.
You're welcome.
She was number one.
So yeah, this movie is
Delicious.
Yummy.
I mean, isn't it great that we're going into the food holiday and discussing the food movie?
yes, we haven't mentioned that yet.
Yeah, I've eaten so much food this week. It's
Uh,
not even giving yet.
We just got back from an early birthday dinner from my dad, and we're all stuffed here.
Yeah.
inside.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What did you have?
I had the chicken parmesan crusted thing at Longhorn.
Ooh.
That sounds delicious.
Oh, it was so
I mean,
good.
chicken parmesan isn't vegan. Nora.
I know
Nora.
that reference.
What? Wait.
Nora, my sister.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I
didn't-
thought you said Nora.
I did. I said Nora, my sister. Have you seen
Oh.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Scott who?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Jarron,
Duh.
Stop asking if Nora has seen things. You're only going to get sadder.
Hey, I hadn't seen it. I'd never seen it until last year. So
Yeah,
I don't know
despite
what
my
it was
pestering.
earlier, but Daniel just straight up went ahead and explained to me what something was, and I was like, "Thank you," so I didn't have to act confused.
You're welcome.
anyway, Scott Pilgrim versus the World is on Netflix. You have no reason not to watch it.
As I kept telling you, Jarron.
I have so many.
My
things to
friends
watch.
were in town, and
I give you such a hard time about it, but you never watch the movies I tell you to watch. Scott Pilgrim, Spider-Verse, Shazam, and then you
Hey.
watch them like months later, and you're like, Daniel, these are amazing movies.
those are maybe 3 of my favorite movies of all time. You turd.
So maybe you'll listen to my future recommendations, eh?
Perhaps.
So
Okay, good.
Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I will admit, I'm in the middle of watching other shows, and it would be wrong
It's a movie.
to skip. Well, okay, but I'll watch it.
You're kind of the young Neil of our podcast.
Neil Armstrong. Yes.
Watch First Man too. Anyway, if you'll indulge me for a second, I mentioned earlier I had gone to Paris once.
Tell us.
It's nothing like what this movie shows. You can almost never see the Eiffel Tower as clearly as Remy always seems able to do.
Oh, shut up. It's perfect.
But no, Paris is great, and the food, truly amazing. There's one French restaurant I went to, not in Paris, but in England, and that's where I had the best meal of my life, I swear. Remy must have cooked it or something.
Oh, tell me what it was.
It was, oh boy, it was duck ribs, potatoes au gratin, and this like cherry wine sauce to dip them in. If you put the potatoes in between 2 slices of duck ribs and just kind of wipe them down in that sauce. Oh.
That sounds beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, that all
I
sounds.
love food.
Like that's the kind of thing that gives me an ego moment where I just flash back and I'm like, I'm a kid again.
Think about it. Food is the one thing, aside from air, that we can all, like, share in.
Yeah, none of us enjoy water.
Well,
I like water.
Shout
I
out to
like
our slash
LaCroix.
Hydra homies.
I like water.
I
Water's
like
great.
LaCroix a lot.
But this isn't the water movie. That was a couple weeks ago.
The water movie.
Finding
Yes, flushed away.
We.
Had to make you mad.
Don't talk of disgusting things.
Okay, so is there anything else from Ratatouille that we needed to talk about and we haven't gotten to yet? Because again, this is such a long movie. It's one of Pixar's longer ones.
Wait, let me think. Soundtrack, good.
There's a lot.
Animation, good. Remy voice acting, good. That scruff that I noticed on Luke Green, the good. I like really. That was a big point I talked about. I talked about the rat bed, right? Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
I answered about that. No, I'm good. I'm good. Those were what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
I've
think
covered
I'm
all
good as
my
well.
notes.
A little impassioned speech about my anxieties and imposter syndrome.
Yep. It was
Love
very
you,
good.
Jarron.
Guys, we managed to mostly stay on topic, I feel.
We talked about
because this
JoJo for like a
movie is
solid minute.
Well, yeah, but that's not nearly as bad as it's gotten in the past.
I mean,
Ah.
last week we discussed a boring movie with boring characters.
Last week, I think we talked about Cars for maybe 20 minutes, and like the rest of the hour was everything else.
Yeah, Cars is no Ratatouille, and it's no Incredibles. Sucks that it was sandwiched between two Brad Bird masterpieces.
My boyfriend highly disagrees.
We're going to get him on the podcast for Cars too.
He really likes Cars, and I don't blame him. I mean, I like it, but I think he.
I
Really
like it.
Also, he has like a bunch of younger siblings, so I think he has to like rewatch it all the time. And
Oh,
There's some wow factor to Cars, but it's no Ratatouille.
no, it's no Ratatouille. It's no Wally either next week.
We're getting to the space movie, boys and girls.
Wally.
Yeah, Wally was a big one for me as a kid because
Same.
I grew up wanting to be an astronaut,
Same.
but I just got fat instead.
No.
Same. Same.
No. Need both of you hush. Hush.
Well, yeah, definitely join us next time for Wally. That's going to be another great one. We have a string of great ones up until we get to Cars 2.
You know why we stayed on topic for Ratatouille?
Because you
it's
watched
amazing.
it?
Because no. because don't call me out, Daniel, because it's amazing.
True.
Does Jarron have the hiccups now?
No, it's Daniel.
They came back.
Oh, okay, I
With
thought it
With
was
a
Jarron.
vengeance.
And I was like, Daniel, look what you did to Jarron.
Yeah, so Wally next week. I'm very much looking forward to it.
It's gonna be a good rewatch. It's been a few years for that one too. Not
Same
nearly
here.
as long as Ratatouille though. Well, I've been Daniel.
And I've been Jarron.
And I've been Nora, the #1 fan.
And now the de facto third co-host.
Excellent.
All right, Jarron, did you get our outro music ready?
Oh, shoot. No, I didn't. We'll do it
Okay.
next week.
This outro music?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Jarron insisted upon it, and then he ruined it. Sorry,
I
listeners.
forgot about it entirely.
Well, goodbye.